The Marriage of Figaro holds a special place in the heart of Glyndebourne. It was the first production that we ever staged on the 28th of May 1934, and it starred one of our founders, Audrey Marmé. And Figaro never left the repertoire once it entered. So we have the 1934 Figaro, which opened the house and ran from 1934 to 1939. It was directed by Carl Ebert and designed by Hamish Wilson and Anne Litherland. And that really set the tone for Glyndebourne. When we look at the reviews, which I have a whole book of them here, you can literally turn to any single review and they all say the same. The definitive version of Figaro. I've never seen so intelligent or imaginative a production of Figaro. Glyndebourne closed in 1939 for the war and reopened in 1946. We then see a new version of Figaro. Carl Ebert still directs, but we see new designers and a slightly different feel to the look and the aesthetic of the production. We also then have a new production by Oliver Messel in 1955, and that really brings Messel's charm and the faux rococo look that's so significant for his productions to Glyndebourne. And it's a really successful production, and incredibly we have footage of that production in colour, which is such a rare treat. As we move through to the 70s, we start to see some of the bigger names in opera come through. In 1973, Peter Hall brings his legendary production of Figaro to Glyndebourne. It stars Kiri Takanawa as the Countess and really keeps that traditional feel. In '94, there's a new production of Figaro for Glyndebourne that opens the house, and that stars Gerard Finley and Renee Fleming. And again, that brings a real traditional feel to the opera. As we move forwards through time, we start to see newer versions. The last version in 2012 brought the action right up to the 60s and really cast it as this Moorish fantasy where people were wearing flares and kaftans rather than big ball gowns. We have a real treat in the archive, an artifact from 1934. It's Audrey Marmé's costume from Susanna in Figaro. And it's incredibly precious. It's 91 years old and designed by Anne Litherland. And costumes often wrongfully considered to be almost like couture in theatre. And what we must remember is that this costume would have been thrown off in a hurry, put on in a hurry, sweated in, patched up and restitched. So what may look like damage is really, you can see stitching here, the lace has aged slightly. So really what we're looking at is something that's very much so had a life of its own. And we can see that the detail on this is just exquisite. Has these incredible, beautiful roses. And really, if you're in your seat in the audience, you wouldn't see the detail. The only person seeing it is the person wearing it and the person performing with them. And really, that attention to detail is something that was stitched into the fabric of Glyndebourne from the very first day. Next year, Marianne Clement will bring the 10th staging of Figaro to Glyndebourne, which is incredibly exciting. If we look back at some of her other productions here, such as Il Turco and Natalia or Don Pasquale, we can expect to see a sophistication, a charm, bringing an intelligence to the piece. Marianne's also the first female director to tackle Figaro, and we'll be interested to see how she tackles the different characters and what her production is going to look like.